Last year I modified my Lone Wolf sticks. I cut them down. I never liked the length of them for packing, so I cut them down. They ended up being 21 inches between steps, and I made it so that the standoffs turned and swiveled, and they ended up nice. I mean, I was happy with how they packed, because you can see there's two sticks right there, and that's pretty much how they packed. But I've never liked the one step on one side or the other. Sometimes you get up in a tree and it might be a difficult crooked tree, or for whatever reason you're struggling up there in the dark, and it just makes it really hard on you. You're all twisted up and uncomfortable because your feet are literally, on these 21 inches apart, and it just stinks. There's times when you need to get on both feet on the same level to do what you need to do around the tree, or to lean out or something like that. So very uncomfortable. So anyway, I wanted to convert them into a double step, and a couple months ago I saw on Facebook the guys from Catalyst Outdoors and what they were doing, and saw that they were coming out with some new sticks that I really liked, but then also saw that they had some replacement double steps that they were putting on the market, and I got a hold of them, and they sent me a few of them to convert my sticks. And this is what I ended up with. The 8ers were something new for this year. Cable 8ers, trying them, but this is the sticks. This is what they came out looking like, and as you saw, they stack real well, but we'll go into that more later. But you can see the double step just makes it easier to do everything. I converted some other things. They ended up 20 inches apart, step to step. The quality of them is like second to none, honestly. But this is the other two that I'm going to put on this third stick that I got, and this is how they came. I mean, really high quality, Cerakoted. I mean, the fit, you can see the channel in there, that the stick fits perfect in there. Cool product. I mean, it weighs next to nothing. I don't know how much it weighs, but it looks like it's machined aluminum. Great product. And like I said, I'm going to show you now how I converted it, how I did what I did, and why I did what I did. So now I'm just going to strip this stick down and get started converting everything. You can see I have an Amsteel rope mod that I did there. I'll get more into that later. And I'm just going to start taking everything apart. Stripped down, everything is off it, and now I have to get the holes lined up now. I'm going to use this hole on the top hole of this step, and I have to drill the second hole. And what I'm doing on the bottom is I'm going to use this hole as the bottom hole and drill a new hole for the top. And this I could actually cut off, but I need this actually for them to nest together. So I'm just going to leave that little bit extra, that extra 3/4, maybe an inch of material on there. But I have to cut some of this tape off, because this Gorilla Tape I have on here to silence it it won't fit because the tolerance is so tight, it's perfect. So now you can see I took the tape off the top where the step is going to contact it, and you can see, I mean, it just sits right on there perfect. The tolerance is absolutely on the money. Now I'll do the same thing on the bottom. I'll get the tape out of the way, get it ready. I'll mark the hole, and then I'll drill it. And there it is. Just fits right on perfect. You can see, I'm not sure you can see that, but that hole right there is lined up perfect. And now I have to drill this hole for the bottom step. I kind of have an idea what I want to do here. I had slight issue with doing these when I drill. I don't have a drill press, so I was kind of, you can see where I have it marked here. But the holes weren't going through perfectly straight, so I'm thinking if I put these 2 steps, and I can use these 2 steps as a drill guide to get it through nice and straight. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to secure this step with a bolt, get it lined up perfect together. I'm going to put a bolt on the back here and then use that as a guide to drill right through with a 1/4 inch drill bit and come out the back side. It should be nice and straight. Okay, I got the second one all bolted together, 1 step on top of the other. Now I'll drill that one. There you can see everything lined up perfect. But that's definitely the way to do it. Put one on top of the other and use it as a guide. So yeah, so now I'm going to start building it. I'm going to build it exactly the way I have those, so they stack. I'm going to grab one of these other 2 sticks so I can use it as a model to see exactly what I need where, as far as the bolt length, because there's a couple different lengths that are going to come into play here, and where I need the washers and metal washers and Teflon washers and that sort of thing. The hardware I'm using is either the same hardware reused from Lone Wolf, and I have some grade 8 stuff that I bought from Lowe's, but everything is grade 8, so shouldn't be an issue. I think these are 2.5. These are 2 1/4, and I have some 2 inchers. So with the combination of those 3 different lengths, hopefully I have enough of the right combination to put everything back together. Now the Versa button, what I did for these rope mods to make them fit a little better, I cut 1/4 inch off the space between the end of the Versa button and the stick, so the rope mod will catch and hold tighter than it did before with the full size mod. So I'm going to do that now. I'm just going to mark 1/4 inch, and then I'm just going to take a hacksaw, cut it as straight as I can. Now that I've got this cut down, I have to use a shorter bolt to go through it so it doesn't stick too far out the back. So I think what I used was one of these 2 inchers, stuck that through, and went with the bottom hole, and that looks about right. Metal washer and a nut. Now the other thing I have to do with the Versa button is cut out a little section on the bottom. You can see it here. It helps when the next bolt comes down, and it'll set right in there. If not, it would hit on top. So this, with it being gone, that little section, it allows the sticks to nest a little bit better. Alright, so you can see it's cleaned up nice and low, and I have that section cut out, so the next stick will nest right in there, the bolt will set right in. So now we're going to try to match the top. So you need the step. Let's see how long this bolt is. This is a 2 incher on top with a metal spacer onto the stick, and then another metal spacer, washer, and a nut. Now the bottom's got the standoff on it, so it needs a longer bolt, which I believe is a 2.5 incher. I need one of these bigger washers, and then the standoff. The bottom's a little different because it's got the cablator, which these are cablators I got from Eastern Woods Outdoors. Really super high quality. Again, another great product. Okay, so the next one's a little more complicated. It's got the 8er on it, so I know I need a 2.5-inch bolt for that one. Starts out with a bolt and a washer on top, a small Teflon washer, and then the cableator. And that all goes on top here. And then on the back, we have one of these big flat Teflon washers and the standoff. Then a small Teflon washer. A metal washer. And the nut. I don't want to make it too tight because then the 8er won't move around like it should. Now what I have to do is I have to bend this side of the cableator up a little bit so it'll clear this bolt when it swings around, or else it won't be able to swing around all the way. You'll see it hits right there. So what I need to do is just take a pair of channel locks and lift up on it, bend it up a little bit, just a slight adjustment, and that should bring it right around, just like that. So now this one hits, which is fine because that's as far as it needs to go. So now it'll just slide on there and go on. That's pretty much it. I mean, I have to put the end caps on, which is nothing. That's that. Same thing. And what I'll do is I'll fill in a little bit more tape that I had to take off, and give it a little, a little paint job. Just something to break it up a little bit. Is it necessary? Probably not. So here's the finished product. Good looking stick, 20 inches apart. Double step replacements from Catalyst Outdoors. Great product. The stick weighs as is with the cableator, the amp steel rope on it. It's about 2 pounds. I have 6 pounds in steps. This is what it looks like. These are the finished steps with the camouflage and everything on them. I sanded down the cableator a little bit just to dull it down so it didn't shine, and that's it. It is a big, big dough.